what he said. Take a listen. One more time, then I'll go to what the lady said in response.
Sure, I'll change the ones. I have an idea what is happening in North. And nobody can grab that process today in Nigeria that I've seen in the country.
The funny thing about this guy is he has an over-bloated ego. What do you mean you know the problem of the North, but nobody can fix it? You look around, all these people in politics today, nobody can fix it but you. That you are who? You have not even changed your own region, no, but you are the only one that can change the problem of the North. Do you know how complex the North is? Anambra State, I don't know. I don't think they have up to 5 ethnic groups in that state. They have Igbo as a majority. I know they have Igala. I think they have, let me check. Because we should, because the person I want to give us something, you about say that, if you're going to give me something, at least I want to check what they wear. If you want to give me clothes, may I say what they wear first? So I will know if you're actually capable of doing what you're saying. So give me a second. Let me check something. You can also check, please. Umbo. Okay, 2. I was right. I like to confirm just to make sure that we're not, spreading wrong information. So there are 2 ethnicities in the whole of Anambra State. Just 2. Okay? The Igbos and the Igalas. Of course, the majority are Igbos and the minority, of course, are the Igalas. Now, Peter Obi was governor of Anambra State, a largely homogeneous state. And somehow, he found a way to create whatever you want to call it, division, dichotomy, whatever, between the Anglicans and the Catholics. Is it a person who has a problem governing a state with one major ethnic group and a very small minority, who now wants to go to the north, not to a state in the north, to the north? In the north, you go to a state like Taraba, you have about over 30. You go to Adamawa, you have all these ethnicities all over the place, but you are the only one that has the answers to their problem. And so you are saying that even their own people don't have enough sense to think of their own problem and their solution. Now you, Jehovah, give the work of but this thing is something else. Sorry, I have to restart TikTok, Twitter as well. But we're good now. Anyway, let me play you what the lady said. Okay, let's finish listening to Peter, then we'll listen to the lady.
I have an idea what is happening in North. And nobody can grab that process today in Nigeria that I've seen in the politics better than me. I will work with them and I'll ensure that that unity, that security, that prosperity they desire, I will unleash, I will commence it. And I'll show you. So you have to work closely with people in the north. That is going to have massive poverty that needs to be done. I have an idea to deal with the issue of education and health properly, not this thing. And I'll deal with it decisively.
I think that's an excellent question, but...
So this is what the Hausa lady said.
There is no one as arrogant as a slave that was quickly upgraded. They call us illiterates. Do you know what illiteracy means? You're more educated than we are. There is this stupid mentality that these people have. Thinking that education is about speaking English. Is China speaking English? Is Saudi Arabia speaking English? Are the Germans speaking English? Are the French speaking English? So what is this idea that it's when you speak English that you are educated? Now, what is the first definition of education? Education is ability to read and write. Well, the problem the indie frosters have is that they skip evolution. I personally have a written record of my parents, my grandparent, my great-grandparent for like about 5 to 6 generations. I know of people who have written records in the northern part of Nigeria and some in the southwestern part of Nigeria who have written records of their parents' 10th generation. Now, some of them can't even trace the generation 2 generations away. And I'm telling you, written records, that means our forefathers were actually reading and writing. It might not actually be in English. It could be in Arabic. It could be in Ajami. It doesn't matter. It's reading and writing and it's being educated. The ability to put down your thoughts into writing. The ability to express your feelings into writing. That's literacy. To keep the record of your time and able to merge it with what is happening in the past and keep the record down for the future, that is literacy. When the missionaries came to this country, these people were basically wearing leaves. Yes, some of them were walking naked. Some of them were walking naked. I even heard that it is only their chiefs or their kings that were wearing leather skin. That's if you have high ranking. By that time, in northern Nigeria and in some parts of southwestern Nigeria, people were already wearing clothes. They were organized government. And so when they took them, because they were easy target, because they were more like savages, they were easy target for the colonizers. They now give them a little bit of Western education. I call it a little bit, the slavery style. I tell you, there is no one as arrogant as a slave that was quickly upgraded. So they skipped some steps of evolution. So they didn't evolve naturally. They were skipped. So the barbaric nature is still in a lot of them. So they feel that every single person should have that nature. They attribute the silence of the people from northern Nigeria as a kind of weakness. Actually, it's not a weakness. It's just literacy shielded in the shroud of humility. If you don't understand that, because that's something very difficult for these people to understand. They do not understand humility. They think that silence is a weakness.
Hey, don't they speak now? Fire, fire, fire. Northerners are getting angry now. Ah boy, this is interesting. Just a little correction. Reading and writing is not really education, that's literacy. Education is broader than literacy. But the point was made, and I agree with her. But the way she said, some people, she's correct. I'm not even going to correct anything else apart from that one, because some people really skipped evolution, but it's true. Anyway, there's another video. Take a listen.
There are some sets of people that have so much entitlement mentality, and they feel that they have the right to talk about other people's problems. They have this hero syndrome, thinking they're other people's savior. So they have the right to talk about you, but you don't have the right to talk about them. It's very funny. I had somebody, calling my name, barking and telling me that, why am I not talking about Almajiris and the things that are happening in the north? Okay, the truth is, I don't need to talk about it. There are too many people talking about it. Your people are helping me talk about it. I came to this platform to discuss how to re-educate Nigeria on the benefits of each region. I was attacked by some people, and I decided to make them an assignment. The more you attack, the more I will talk. That's the fact. Nobody has a monopoly to talking about other people. There is nowhere in this country that is not having insecurity issues. What I know in my history, the history of how I grew up, we always tagged this in the first class. When they open a shop, you hear people talking that, no, he was formerly an armed robber. He was formerly a thief. He's an armed robber or stuff like that. We knew then that they were the first criminals in this country. I'm telling you, I can bet you today, there's a crime that's happened in the eastern part of Nigeria in terms of analyzing somebody. Why is it not attributed to either their religion or a particular group? Because the West always talk down on Muslims, so every Tom, Dick, and Harry just feels that he has that guts to just attribute everything to Muslims. Everybody talks about Muslims. At the moment you just step in and talk about them, they bark like raging dogs. Go and check all of my posts. When I talk to my fellow house people and I tell them, okay, these are some of the corrections we're going to make, the comment sections are quiet, silent. It's still the same people who come and start to insult. My dear, I'm not going to talk about Almajiris. We have been talking about them, so you've done that responsibility already. I want to do what nobody's doing. Talking about people who feel they're too proud to be talked about. The moment you talk about them, they just enrage. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry talks about Muslims, talk about Hausa, talk about Fulani, when they have their own impending problems. Let me tell you, no, the problems of northern Nigeria is so much. Should we start talking about the statistics of your own? Should we start calling every single kidnapping case and every single crime that happens, even neighbor to neighbor, friend to friend? Should we start calling it out and making it about you people? Would you be happy about it if we generalize? Look at the case of this young man, fish magnet here, who was selling his franchise, and a group of young men attacked him and killed him. Oh, I guess, if that happened in northern Nigeria, it would have been the whole of the lives of all Muslims that we talked about. The prophet that is in his grave will start receiving news that something has happened. Because no, you are entitled to having bad people, but we are not entitled to having bad people. So because the West use the same style, you think you can use it at all? No, not everybody will agree with you. If the rest would agree with you or not. It is a pledge I have made to myself. As long as a single comment As long as a single comment bullies my people, my religion, I will come for you. It is a promise I made. Because nobody has monopoly to talk about others, and we should not talk about. Should we talk about your baby factories? Should we talk about the number of northern Nigerian children that are kidnapped every single day to your areas? Should we talk about that? So why do you think you have the monopoly to talk about others without you being like to be talked about? It's give and take here.
I say, what I don't pass Gary now, because whatever makes you get I also have people to begin to speak. It means that you have gone because they usually talk, they usually calm. I think what got them speaking, to be honest, I think is this presidency, because during Buhari's regime, I mean, people insulted Buhari and they insulted Fulani, they insulted the North. Everybody just kept quiet, and then now they started insulting Tinubu and then Yoruba people by extension, and later on just focus on Yoruba people. But Yoruba people will not take that nonsense now, so we fired back. So I guess outside people are like, you know what, it's time we should also, speak up, because certain people are taking them for granted. So I guess that's what is happening now. I can't say I really like it, but I think it also tells you that people there's limit to everything. And once people are tired, they'll give it to you. Like I said, today's session we'll be doing a mix until we get to the topic of today itself. At this point, I want to play you something from a conversation that was had on the Twitter space. Again, we are seeing things. Apparently, Pavik came in just now asking me a stupid question, asking if I was tired. I think you should direct this question to his family members who said this. Take a listen to this. Mobile is not playing. Mobile, this thing will play. It must play. I saw your question. It's a stupid question, but this is your answer. I'm not even going to say anything. Just listen to your fellow.
He's filling up his government with Yoruba separatists all over the place, and the Lagos mafians. So it's not going to happen. There's no change that will come from him. Who is that? So there's no change that will ever come from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that's why we need to root that guy out. That guy has no business with the government. He shouldn't be anywhere close to seat of power, even if he's a local government councillor. He should not even be near. But now he has increased and weaponized bigotry and tribalism. So we should find a way to root him out. That's one of the biggest problems. But Igbophobia is real. That's why Shenwo Kimpaloye was bold enough to tell P2B, look into the camera and convince the Northerner that to trust you and blah, blah, blah. That's why they have such a confidence. That's why a man such a man of a character, if Yoruba man has a P2B, I believe they will be flying. They will put on a wing and be flying all over the world. And the same happens, the same in the north. If they have somebody like P2B, but the Igbo has it. Sorry, I have that bragging right. We have the most incompetent tested man in Nigerian history.
We have the most incompetent and tested man. That Pavik, leave me alone. I am not educated. I didn't even go to school. Say I look well educated and learned. I am not educated. Don't gaslight me with stupidity. I am not educated. Leave me alone like this, eh? Rather, you guys will suffer. You cannot be insulting people anyhow. You know what? I'm going to have to mute this clown. If you say this is not the best, go and look for your own platform and be doing your best. You guys will until you learn lesson. You saw people anyhow, you see people will not respond to you, okay. They will respond. You go and Larry Mole. This is somebody say they have the most incompetent clown from the region. How can you happy to be here and you be happy? Happy that what? That what exactly? The bar is in the gutters in the southeast or low. I was going to say the bar is low. It's not low. It's in the dungeon. Let's finish this nonsense, I beg.
I have that bragging right.
Which right?
Sorry. But he is treated as if he's a criminal by this government. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are. But we will continue to deal with it. The Harris method is the best method. we can fight. If you want bigotry, we will come and do bigotry. Tribalism, the day of tribalism, we will come and do tribalism. And then the day of politics and one Nigeria, we will also go and do what? Talk one Nigeria. Nobody is going to bobo or brainwash anybody anymore. Yoruba separatists, you will not have that monopoly anymore. The same thing to the northern, what they call them again, whatever they call them in the north. Nobody will have the monopoly anymore. We are all together. We will be God together, tribalism together, do one Nigeria together. We were all in it. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much, NK and Iroma. Are you the mic here?
This is a joke. I mean, you don't need anybody to do anything called bigotry before you guys begin to do it. Very dumb set of clowns. I mean, these guys had a session one time where they said they'll just be lying and putting up propaganda. I'll see if I can find that video. That it doesn't really matter what they are saying is true. They just put up propaganda and all of those things. What is happening is that for the first time, I think people just noticed this generation, their fathers know this, but they haven't learned. Their grandfathers, because they probably either lived in the 60s and the 50s and understood what happened in the 40s, so they must have told them that story. These ones, they forgot to teach them, and they just thought they could just bully everybody. When a bully is shown a mirror, suddenly begins to cry like a baby, and you discover that there is no strength in the bully. He's nothing. All right, the old time, you start throwing tantrums. This is a bunch of people throwing tantrums and saying, "Oh, P2B, P2B." Meanwhile, the P2B that they're talking about, I'll find you that video I mentioned earlier. But let me play you something from P2B. 3 different clips about certain claims that P2B made. Take a listen.
And I pledge on behalf of our government that in 4 years, this country will generate and distribute at least 10,000 megawatts for the 4,000 they are doing today. It is something we have studied. We're not going to get into government and start giving you excuse why it will not happen. And I've said, and I repeat, that in 4 years, we will generate.
Village boy, you and your family, from the top to the least in your family, you are cursed. What you just wrote right now is for you. Every single thing you are typing right now is from the head of your lineage to the least person. Every single one of you will go through exactly what you just wrote there. And remember today's date. Today is 29th July 2026. That's the day you use your own hand to put yourself in trouble. Your family members will eventually come out of it, but they are going to have to see something. You will cheat something from what you just typed. And then you will learn in your life not to talk to people anyhow. Every single thing you have written there will be the experience of you and every single member of your family. You will experience it on a daily basis. And it's going to take a while for it to lift from others, but you will still suffer it because you're the one that brought them into it. And I'm not joking, by the way. We are not all the same on Twitter, on social media. You just wrote there. God bless you in your suffering. At some point, it will lift off your members, other members of your family. But for you, eventually it will lift, but you're going to have to suffer it so that you will learn a lesson, not to ever write that kind of thing to anybody again. Let's continue listening to Obi.
Transmit and distribute at least 10,000 megawatts of electricity.
How are you going to do
No, I'm not going to tell you what I am.
Well, every presidential candidate over the last years have promised stable electricity, yet decades later, Nigeria still struggles. I'd like you to give Nigerians now a realistic timeline, not a political promise. How would you ensure that Nigeria will experience reliable, stable 24-hour electricity under a P2B presidency, and how long will it take you to achieve this?
We will not give them, I will not sell them. I'm going to give them reliable,
Stable 24-hour.
24 hours within 4 years. It's impossible. Because, Shelo, if you want to build a power plant, it will take you about 4 years to build a power plant. if you want to build, improve our transmission line and improve it, it will take you a number of years. Same thing goes with all your solutions.
Anyway, I was going to say something about this thing, but let me show empathy to Igbos. Some people went through some terrible things in the Southeast. I'm going to just change. I'm going to switch just a little bit to what happened in South Africa recently. But before I just do that, time. The point is, he would never become president of Nigeria. The people in the comment section who are cursing now, you will curse till you die, and your death will not be quick. You will suffer before you die because you cannot curse me like this. I'm telling you. I know more they will bless you, but today you will be an example to the rest of your lunatics. The point is, you guys, you cannot make a president because cursing people will not give you presidency. Okay, that's not how people become president, which means that you will suffer the consequence of your nonsense, and then your man will still not win. It will always be close. It will never arrive. It will always be close. It will never come. Whatever come means to you. So I hope that helps your destiny and your obedient nonsense. Meanwhile, in South Africa, something terrible really happened, and a man who happens to be from the Southeast was unalived recently over this whole brouhaha in South Africa. I can't show you the video, but they are filming him while he's bleeding in his mouth, and he eventually passed on. Now, it's a very sad thing that people have to, go through that in South Africa just because, they're living in other people's lands. Of course, we know the other side of, some people have been selling this and selling that, and, maybe because of what they've done, that's the reason people have been attacking them. I get that, but I don't think anybody should have to experience this kind of terrible stuff, which is why when the South African envoys, came to see President Tinubu, excuse me, when the South African envoys came to see President Tinubu, he did not meet with them. Rather, he had the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs to meet with the folks from South Africa. I'd like to play you something that was communicated by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Shola Enikonlaye, after he briefed the President on talks with President Cyril Ramaphosa's special envoy. Take a listen to this, please.
South Africa. Tell us about this.
Well, I've just come out of my briefing to Mr. President, a report of the assignment he gave me yesterday, and that was to receive the special envoy of President His Excellency President Ramaphosa of South Africa, in the person of his foreign minister, Roland Lamola. I just briefed the President on the meeting we had, giving him specific details of commitment that we were able to get South Africans to make, including the need, for example, to quickly activate the early warning mechanism. President mentioned that specifically, and also the binational commission between two countries. Mr. President was briefed on the evacuation that we already concluded, with about 1,490 or so Nigerians that were brought back. I thank him for making the resources available. I also told him that 2 of the batches were funded by 2 private individuals, and that we've done a good job in bringing them back. Even though I also mentioned, and quite a number still want to come back. We're trying to look at other ways in which we can fund the evacuation. Specifically with respect to the Afrophobic attack. I told him some of the areas of divergence that we have, including the definition of whether what's going on is xenophobic or Afrophobic. President agreed with me that it is Afrophobic and that Africa must unite in ensuring that we put an end to this spiral of violence targeted at Africans in South Africa. Mr. President recall his very close relationship with Ramaphosa, and I told him, sir, that's something we'd like to leverage on to ensure that we put a stop to this orgy of violence and death and destruction of our nationals in South Africa.
Yes, thank you. But as I say on the issue on the ground, that those who have been repatriated lost a lot of valuables, and they are making demands that those things be compensated. So what is Nigerian government doing regarding this?
Yeah. That issue did not quite come up clearly yesterday in our discussion, but during the negotiations for the early warning mechanism, I recall that that was a contentious issue. So in preparation for us lodging a claim, we have designed a form to be filled by all Nigerians who may have lost property in South Africa, want to be able to proceed on the basis of data, on the basis of the quantum of losses they have suffered, and then we go back, because our engagement with South Africa is ongoing. It's not a one-off event. Yesterday was a continuation. We intend to meet going forward. Then we'll be able to table those claims and see how we can explore options for compensation. I also told the president, as I reported I reported to the president, as I told the envoy yesterday, that Nigeria has options. And the president agreed with me. There are options, that we are not helpless in this situation, and the president noted, as I was saying though, so all options are still on the table. They would prefer diplomacy and negotiations to continue until we can arrive at a mutually acceptable outcome that will protect Nigerian citizens, their lives and property in South Africa, and whether they are irregular or irregular, they are human beings. And we made that very clear. The president agreed with me, as I said so. Criminals have a right to life. You cannot say because they are criminals and you begin to hound and kill them. I think we made that very clear, and South Africa agreed with that position. That's the position I reported to Mr. President. Okay?
All right. I think you should listen to the exchange they had, when they allowed media in there during the meeting. Of course, he had the Minister of State to stand in for him. They had some conversations. I'd like to play some of it for you from TVC News.
I use of law. As criminals, as you alluded, just should be managed. Even the criminals, as you alluded to them, we reiterate that the solution is not to kill them. We're a country governed by the rules of law. Someone is, quote unquote, a criminal for drug trafficking. There are rules, there are regulations. Get them arrested, prosecuted, and jailed. The Nigerian government will not support drug peddlers. But please, what we're saying is that treat them in accordance with your constitution, in accordance with international human rights instruments, in accordance with the minimum requirement of humanity. But what we have found is that this xenophobic attack had gone beyond, attack on criminals. We have record of Nigerians who have legitimate papers to remain in South Africa, yet they have been attacked. And we could see some mob action, which we started police. If the state authorities are not able or unwilling to tackle these challenges in a manner that offers some confidence in citizens, in foreigners, that indeed they are safe to remain in the country. I think those are some of the background to our concerns, and we're hoping that when we go into closed session, we'll be able to address in some considerable details our specific concerns and why Mr. President had asked that we should receive you. Again, he sent his warm greetings to his brother,
friendship and body chemistry that exists between these two countries. And they came together to lift Africa, into the G20. And Mr. President, my present concern is that those aspirations should not be marred by issues such as xenophobia that involves the killing of Nigerians in South Africa. I don't know, so I've not watched more of our nationals. It was not a pleasant experience, not just for the victims, but also even for us as government. I recall I received the first bag, I shed tears with the plane. Please, gentlemen of the press and for security details, I see those while returning home, almost with nothing. Some of the properties have been looted, some of them have been destroyed. I don't think that is the way we want to conduct relations in Africa. I don't think that is the way to go. Honourable Minister, once again, our best wishes and welcome to Nigeria.
All right, that was from TVC News, and that was the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs representing the President at the meeting with the South African envoy. So, yeah, the President refused to receive them, but he did receive some other people. One of the groups he received was the group of Catholic bishops who went to see the President at Arso Rock yesterday. I'm going to just play you some of the things that the President said in their conversation. Please take a listen to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
To me, I return all the mission schools as the governor of Lagos State. All of you record.
Sorry, I think I'm rushing. Someone, let me read some of the things you have on the screen. I'll go back to this in a bit. Let's just read some of the comments here. Someone says, one second. Someone says that the stigma of generalizing it to the whole Nigeria is the issue. And I agree with you 100%. At this point, maybe one of the things we also have to begin to ask our representatives to do in the National Assembly is to begin to, it may sound very extreme, but I think we are living in very extreme times. It calls for extreme measures. There has to be a way to separate. We're coming back to President Tinubu and Catholic bishops to separate, to identify different ethnicities in Nigeria, like an official way of doing that. And don't tell me it's bigotry. Okay, it's enough. You can't. It has even gone beyond just people even going abroad to do something terrible. They're even changing their names now. I've said it several times. It's not like there's only one ethnicity that does something wrong in the country. Criminality has no ethnicity, Abi. But how come it's only one ethnicity they're always seeing all over the place, particularly when it comes to drugs? Now, I agree with the Minister of State that no matter what they do, you can't kill them. Okay? You can't begin to, hurt them because, okay, you call them doing one thing or the other. However, we should also begin to ask the question, how is it that, like somebody said in the comment section, let me just read the comment so it doesn't look like I'm making it up. Someone says, why is it that it was Dr. Badru? Why is it that it was the Igbos that were being unalived in South Africa? Okay, and Koboko says Europe and Asia will soon start chasing Igbos. You have to begin to ask the question. South Africa, Mozambique. When I watched the Mozambique documentary, this was a few years ago, the kind of things people are doing in that country, everybody will be all right. They hate you everywhere in the world, in Vietnam, in Thailand and stuff, and in where else? India, Pakistan. How can everybody hate you? There must be something that you should also fix. And if this is happening to Nigerians, happening to your people as well, I would say the same thing. No, everybody cannot hate you, right? I mean, maybe everybody hates you because you are so powerful. But the point is, where's the power? Well, you're so perfect. Where's the perfection? So if you notice that it's something, there's something called introspection. I don't know. But anyway, that's not my business. My business is that the government has to find a way to make it easy for the world to know the ethnicity they are dealing with in Nigeria. And this is why we must also canvass for ethno-linguistic states. This is one of the things that we can do to ensure that we don't have to break up Nigeria. They have to find a way to say, because you can say Nigeria, Nigerian, then Oyo State, Nigerian, Osun State. You should be able to say Nigerian Yoruba, which was what Papa was actually going for. By the way, let me digress. I listened to an interview earlier today. Fantastic interview. The man was a politician. He's a minister now. And he was trying to explain to people how politics works. And he said the best thing is regional system. I've said it before. I know you have heard me. The best we've had so far, not the best structure, based on some of the recommendations that they came up with at the confab of 2014. But I'll talk for another day. The point I'm trying to make is that what the AWO were pushing for at the time was ethno-linguistic states, so that instead of having Oyo State, Osun State, Lagos State, Kwara State, Kaduna State, you just have Yoruba State. You have Kanuri State. It's your country of origin. What that means basically is that when people begin to travel out, they should be writing it there. I'm Nigerian and Yoruba. Yorùbá sọ pé torí àbí àwọn àgbààgbà àwọn bàbá wa sọ pé torí tọ́wọ́ máa dáràn náà máa fún lóko ọlọ́mọjà dáràn. But the point is, once you do it now, they know exactly where you are from. I'm saying that because of a particular video I saw. I saw a number of videos over the weekend. I didn't talk about them on Monday or Tuesday, but there's one I want to just quickly play before we go on to what President Tinubu said with the Catholic bishops. Take a listen to this one.
What is your Igbo name? No, what is your Igbo name? No, your Igbo name. No, that is your nature name. What is your Igbo name? No.
I wish you could see the video, but I don't.
The devil in you is really strong.
TikTok doesn't really allow it.
The devil is in you. What'd you say, Pastor? When there is the devil shine.
And then you say you are from Niger Republic. Just destroying other people's heritage after you have destroyed your own. So the government needs to also help us. While of course I agree with the federal government that under no circumstances should people be killed because they are whatever they're doing, even if they're doing something wrong. Unless of course they're in Singapore. If you're in Singapore and you carry drugs, they'll kill you and nobody will cry over you. Because their own laws is straight death. They've already said it. And they've been killing people. That's Singapore, they have zero tolerance for drugs. So, but even then, even if your law says you should kill people who are carrying drugs or who are drug pushing, at least let them go through the process. Let them go through, I mean, they still have their human rights, right? They shouldn't just be killed and unalive on the street. So I agree with the president and the federal government on that. However, they also need to help us. Some people will not stop being criminals or being criminally minded. And that thing is actually rooted in culture. I don't want to go into it. I'm not saying their culture says go and become a criminal, but there are certain things that that cause that thing. But it's not today's topic. The point, Sha, is that they should find a way to make sure that people can recognize us. If I bring out my passport, it should bear my ethnicity. Yes, my country is Nigeria, but it should also bear my ethnicity. Because at this point, people need to know exactly who they are. You can't go everywhere be shouting Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. Who are the Nigerians that are disturbing in South Africa? Listen, there's still Nigerians in South Africa today. Just to be clear, there are still many Nigerians living in South Africa today as we speak who are not being bothered by anybody. And I'm not saying Igbos are the only one being bothered by people, but looks like they are the main people. Just like what happened in Ethiopia. Most of the people in prison. Sometimes we say people hate you. Okay, continue. They will love you after you have shown them criminal, whatever. Anyway, let's move away from this depressing news because it's sad. I mean, I don't want to show you the video. The guy he had blood in his mouth, beating him, and he eventually died. And I think he's the fifth person. They've done about 4 already, so this is like number 5. It's terrible that people should have to go through this just because. And yes, you can blame the South Africans because those ones too. I don't know what's Cotton Generally one shouting. People should leave. You have a problem with your own government. You're not looking for a scapegoat. That's their own issue. They already have their own issues already, right? That's tautology. They already have their own issues on ground, right? And now they're looking for somebody else to blame. But you too, you go to somebody else's land. Why are you moving like something's wrong with you? Anyway, government should take care of that. Let's go back to the news. So I said that the president refused to receive South African envoy. However, he received the Catholic bishops, and this is what he said in that meeting. Take a listen, please.
To me, I return all the mission schools as the governor of Lagos State. One of you, Cardinal Koge, and is alive to testify to that. Happened to be one of the best friends that I have. But the schools in the states, preach to them, the governors of your states. They do the job. There's no need for constitutional amendment for that. That is a part of democracy. Choice. And the Land Use Act is there to give you the opportunity to build more schools. To me, I believe in what you believe, the fact that we should all embrace education to get out of poverty.
So I like what the president said there. And when it comes to returning schools to mission agencies or returning mission schools to churches is what state governors should be doing. I don't know why everybody's always talking about the president, but I'm glad he actually answered them. He said some other things. I'd like us to listen to a few more clips from that interaction with the Catholic bishops. Here, he told them to focus on preaching and leave politics.
The challenges are there. I inherited it. I didn't run away. I asked this job. I mean it.
No. This is the last one I want to play. Number the one where he said that they should leave politics alone. Yeah, this one.
The challenges are there. I inherited it.
Show Nisha. Oh no, sorry.
The challenges are there. I inherited it. I didn't run away. I asked this job. I mean it. Those who will take it from me will try. They will try. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. And nation are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. If political opponents are trying moves, no. We rescue each other to the finishing point.
So he talked here. I think I was probably mixing up the videos, but this particular clip was where he talked about how he's not going to give the the opposition what they need in order to catch him. And I think it's probably what I think is like a response to what Peter was saying last week when he was saying that if he were president, he would strengthen the opposition. Like I said the other day, it's a ridiculously naive and ignorant thing to say, particularly when you understand the fact that you are running this is a presidential system of government. Number one. Number two, your opposition is not necessarily seeing anything good in what you're doing. Excuse me. Yes, Wike, who is working with the president, he's in PDP. They are still working together. At least you see something good in what APC is or what the president is doing, even if it doesn't belong to the party. These other people see nothing good in what the president is doing. So how is it going to help you? Why should it even help you? And that's what he was talking about in that particular clip. But I find the other clip where he said that they should, focus on the work of preaching the gospel and leave politics to politicians. If I find that clip, I will play it for you. But in this particular one, he talks about the fact that he doesn't run away from what he inherited. He mentioned it in the other clip. And then he talked about what they're doing in terms of security. Take a listen to the president one more time.
I inherited the challenges. Am I doing something about it? Yes. I can tell you I'm doing something about it. And yes, there will be resources to equip them, build new barracks, build stations, arm them, and defeat terrorism. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. INEC you mentioned are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. If political opponents are crying wolves, maybe they are afraid of their own shadows and the uncertainty in the companies they keep. Not me.
All right, that was the president. We're going to leave. You mentioned the opposition, so let's play something from one opposition member who has joined 3 parties in this year alone. He's been a member of 3 political parties in less than 1 year. All right, less than 1 year. This man has been a member of 3 political parties. I'd like to listen to what he said when he was interviewed by Seun Okinbaloye about moving from one party to the other. Take a listen to this.
One criticism is of the repeatedly level against you is that instead of helping to build enduring political institutions, you move to whichever platform best advances your presidential ambition. How do you respond?
How many times have I moved? They go and put fire in this one.
Be on the ballot at the presidential level 2 times now.
I went from PDP when the things were no longer being done according to the rules. I left PDP. One day you see my right up there, I left PDP. And I went to Labour. And they came there, said good get born, and I moved to ABC. And I moved to ABC. Since I went to ABC, and the parents are all over the place.
Why don't you stay to help build?
What are you going to do?
You always like to go to where things are safe and easy.
What is happening?
Why should party members in the NDC think that you will be committed to the party? And in any little crisis, you have to deal with.
There's no problem. That's why I said, as president, we encourage the parties. Let me tell you, what is happening in NDC now, happening in NDC, happening in Labour, will never happen in our president of Nigeria. Anyone that tries to do it, even the judiciary, giving us of ruling, you will see what will happen. We must build institutions. And those institutions must allow fairness. I want to invite them to a meeting when we discuss Nigeria. So if I'm in office, and first the crisis we're putting in law today, I'm going to invite all opposition leaders to go there, sit there and take over, and to this. We're only competing during the elections. After the elections, I am in charge. I will invite everybody.
Guy is just a joker. If you were president, he would strengthen the opposition. He will do everything to make sure the opposition is working. And what problem they have? Why didn't you even think of creating one for yourself with your like-minded people who think that you can fix Nigeria? How come you didn't build something on the momentum that you got from obedient movement or from the last election? No, just keep jumping from one place to another. However, I should also play you something from who was a guest on Channel TV's Politics Today with Seun Okinbaloye, and he said something. Chased Peter Obi out of, nobody in APC chased Peter Obi out of PDP. And one of the things I also noticed from Peter Obi is that there is no sense of responsibility. See what the president said. Oh, I inherited problems. He understands what he inherited, but he's not complaining. He has to fix it. This one, why are you jumping? It's because somebody did this, somebody did that. In other words, you're not doing it because of anything on your own part. It's because of what other people are doing. How is that a leader? If you are following this man, you need help. May God help you. Take a listen to the APC National Chairman, Seun Okinbaloye.
Political parties operate under this government. It's horrific. It's horrible. I and the record under this government, as though this government does not want political party in the opposition to thrive. Does that make your party feel more comfortable? What are you worried about? What are you scared of? Who are you afraid of? Are you afraid of your own shadow in the APC? That's why you are chasing after opposition.
Which is out of APC again to NDC. Instead of moving from his party, APC has been the person chasing him from 2015 till date, where we're even opposition.
But there are those who say the hands of your party is in the crisis of Labour Party, the hands of your party is in the crisis in the APC, the hands of your party is in the crisis in NNPP, the hands of your party is in almost the crisis. The deregistration plan, lawsuits, those who are linked to your party. Isn't that the stigma that is very delicate for our country?
Shewan, let me ask you a question. In 2013, when APC started, what is the choice of looking for a political party? But we decided to start early, organize early in 2012, after the election, get the party registered, and move on. But this is a group of people who have a self-inflicted wound. Every day they move from party to party. But let me just ask you, let me just give you the chronology and the difference. In 2013, there was an individual who was not looking for a position, was not contesting for presidency, President Bola Tinubu in 2013, became the leader of the party, became the rallying point of the party. But what we are having in 2023 till date are people who are looking for platform to win elections. When he left Labour Party, moved to ADC, he came to ADC, he discovered that he couldn't get an automatic ticket. And that's when he left NDC. And the NDC now, he has got his ticket. So why, if he wanted to destabilize Obi, would have stopped him from getting a ticket if we were the people doing it? We have a chance. But we don't have that control. And there's no single member of APC that is ADC. No single member of APC that is NDC. Let me just even add that. You've been seeing me falling off of recent. I'm following up some of the ADC and and NDC high-profile politicians in their houses to the count. Same people are fighting us and moving and going around their houses. Some on social media, some are on TV. These are opposition leaders that are against us. But I'm going to their homes daily and talk to them. To come to my party. Come and tell me, just ask me one person that you've seen Peter Obi or Atiku or any of the party chairman for the opposition going to the home of any APC member, National Assembly member, to meet them and ask them to come to their party. You see us moving from state to state.
So you are accounting for...
Of course we do it.
What's your major plan?
Of course.
You wanted to
mobilize. Of course.
Was it part of the briefing that you got from President Tinubu?
That's even the role. That's my role as National Party Chairman. It's part of my role.
To recruit,
of course, people to galvanize and mobilize the party.
And is it true also that anybody that now comes into your party, all their corrupt parties and their corrupt history is over?
Never.
They now become saints when they never want to get into
never. Most people who are in APC are still being prosecuted.
So no corrupt sins will be forgiven.
No.
That's not it. Because the perception is very dire. And
let me just tell everybody, education is not a scam. It's good to do stuff, but it's good to be educated as well. In this conversation, by the way, this man is a professor. I think it helps. Not to say that you have to be a professor, but on this matter, it helps. Chances in the next election, and the idea of what the opposition is saying about them, and then he said something very powerful that must APC lose an election before you guys think it's fair? In other words, the definition of free and fair is when the incumbent loses. That's nonsense now. If you didn't play your game, if you didn't play your cards right, why should I lose because you didn't do your homework? Take a listen to Yewata, that's the APC chairman.
It's now becoming, must we lose the election before democracy is celebrated? she will give it to us. We organize more rallies. You even watch television. How many times do you see MDC or ADC organizing rally in any state? Once. Almost every day. You see what's going around the states. We have our campaign council for Ocean inaugurated. Apart from the state campaign council, why did you see national campaign council of the other political parties? Have they organized one? No. But they still blame us.
They're on Twitter.
I've been to Ocean more than 3 times. Walk around the people, move and see what's happening in the state. I've invited the stakeholders to interact with them. I've engaged people that lost the election in Ocean several times, invited them, have discussion.
Have you met Senator Ijolo Mishore?
Even today I was with him.
What is this? What are the prospects?
In short, he's part of the campaign council that we're having in Ocean right now.
You were able to talk to him?
In short, he was even the first, I was the first to arrive at the venue and stay all through to the end.
And you know his anger.
He's not angry. I was with him.
He's been angry with you, except
he's happy.
Right now?
Yes. He's happy.
Because he's one of those who believe that the process
you watch him right there. Very happy, excited. You want like him, he hug me. I mean, forget about what you have on social media, what you see on TV, what people see outside. Yes, normal for anybody to express anger after losing primary election.
Exactly.
All right. Brilliant submission, if you ask me. Thank you so much for the gift, Sidan. Thanks a lot. And thanks also to Mr. Babatunde Okoli for that gift as well. Thank you very much. If you ask me, that's a brilliant stuff to say. You see, the thing is, politics is not about social media has its place. But at the end of the day, this is not where the election is conducted, which is why I tell you that all these polls that people are saying they're seeing on social media, it's just jokes. Oh, we had this poll, we won 92%. Okay, be winning on social media now. Are you going to be present on social media? Social media plays a role, but there's also the part where it interacts with the grassroots. And you don't see all of that. You don't see that kind of interaction that you have like what he said in Oshun, for what they're doing in Oshun. When you are galvanizing, when you are working with people, you are on the ground working. No, this one's will be on Twitter, be telling you that they did a poll between Tinubu and Peter Obi will win. We win by 97%. Okay, but yeah, Twitter returning certificate. Anyway, they asked this APC national chairman also about Tinubu's health. About what Peter Obi said that Tinubu was tired. Yeah, Peter Obi said Tinubu was tired. Essentially alluding to his health. And this is what the APC national chairman had to say on that matter. Please take a listen to this.
Mr. President Tinubu cannot win a truly free and fair election because Nigerians have become disillusioned with the government's performance. And Mr. Peter Obi has also said that the president is simply tired. He needs to retire. Are you going to listen to the opposition and do the bidding of the opposition? Retire your president, your candidate in the 2027 election, and say, look, this disillusionment that Atiku Abubakar is talking about, you to the voice of the advice of Atiku Abubakar, that what? That your party should just retire the president according to Peter Obi.
Now, but let me take Stats in 2019. What were the factors? He won with the president also. He came back to work with Tinubu in 2007, and they lost. He still left and went back to PDP, returned back to APC again in 2015. He lost the primary election. Ran away and went to PDP again in 2019. He lost the election. Moved and stayed in PDP in 2023. He lost the election. He has now moved to ADC. I don't know how many political parties have moved. I can't even put a finger on how many political parties Atiku has gone to. And he has lost all of them. and not squarely. And you mean
You think that he may not be lucky this time around? Buhari was 4-time lucky.
he's on 6 times unlucky then. But let me just put it this way to him and to also Obi, who claim that our president is tired. Is he going to go for boxing or 100 meters?
But the affairs of state need a rigor. But the affairs of state is a serious business. But it needs.
I mean that President Tinubu that you see every day staying. Last Thursday in the office, I knew he was there in the morning. He left in the night. That person works from morning to night, and most of the people will stand a rigor. President Tinubu is even standing.
If you are not willing, if you are not willing to willingly and freely retire him as Peter Obi, what if the Nigerian people retire him?
You see, these are the issues we're talking about now. You mean these over 1 million and something students who are collecting student loan, who celebrated every day on social media, and they'll be happy to have the president back, and a lot of parents who are wishing and looking for that their students may get admission next year, and they will depend heavily on President Tinubu to nail form to have their children to school to higher institution, and also have stipends that will support even them and their family back home. 20,000 every month. You mean their prayers that the president should be retired? People that have the coastal roads from Calabar to Ẹkáàbọ to Port Harcourt down to Lagos.
The road that is
celebrating
controversially appropriated.
Wait and listen. Now, they five DC ports. Is that okay? The 5 DC ports in Calabar, in Ẹkáàbọ, in Port Harcourt, in Ondo, in Lagos, that are wishing every day that for businessmen who are importing and exporting, who pay extra burden for their ship being docked in Cotonou, and they batch back to Nigeria, and they have additional costs and tax on it, and they are wishing that this DC port should be completed so the cost of goods should be reduced, import for them should be reduced, and they're celebrating. You mean? I was with you. You've been watching. Before you came in, I'm sure you watched the renewal of the ports, airports across the country being done by the Minister of Aviation. You see how the airports have been upgraded? Or is it the gas pipeline that the AKK project to Ajakuta, to Kano, to Kaduna and Kano is carrying gas, and also carrying energy, carrying fertilizer along with the line? That people are waiting in the north anxiously because they are farmers and they want fertilizer to be available. They want also power to be available because most turbines in the south are powered by gas. And they know also that this gas also decongest the grid for them because all the powers from the south are being transmitted. People are looking for several projects.
What about the innocent people that are being kidnapped and killed in your own state of Plateau?
You know,
do you think they're happy with your party?
They're happy.
With your party,
they're happy.
The killings and the
they're happy.
In Benue, we've seen one. In Kaduna.
Okay, I don't want to.
Your party.
Oh, shoot. I must play the other one. The point is that with all the challenges that the federal government is facing or that Tinubu's presidency is facing, is going to actually become the next president. I mean, he's going to win his next term, and we'll wait to see. I mean, there are challenges, and I don't think anybody's going to try to act like everything is perfect. But Peter Obi's rants about what he would do will not change anything, to be honest. Which is why, I don't know if you've heard that, but just in case you haven't, please take a listen to this.
What the opposition is saying, because they say that this government can do more. The NDC presidential candidate Peter Obi was on Channels television yesterday, and he argued that President Bola Tinubu, who governed that the Bola Tinubu who governed Lagos is not the same Bola Tinubu now in Aso Rock. In fact, he said that the president is tired and should be allowed to retire. He also argued that Nigeria needs a president who is visibly How do you react to that position? And why do you think that perception exists?
Well, let's face it, the Peter Obi that was governor of Anambra State is not the Peter Obi of today. Because the Peter Obi of Anambra was one who said, as a matter of respect to the memory of Ojukwu, he will not ever abandon Abga. But before they bring, once the tenure ended, Obi became a political wanderer, and he nearly find alliance with perhaps the kind of people Ojukwu will never have related with when he became a running mate to Atiku Abubakar. And I looked at him, and I've said this several times. You look at his lifestyle to be able to project what he will do if he were to become president. He will not be anyway, God willing. Obi is a trader. Traders have short-term calculation. They are not into long-term projection. They are not wired to think of what situation will be in the long run. Their turnover is within 3 months, maximum 6 months. It is a manufacturer, an investor, an entrepreneur that understands how you can start a project, sweating for 2-3 years to lay, like building a factory, and then going to import machinery to install before you start producing. Nigeria was virtually grounded. Obi is not aware because he's busy trading. Number two, I have said to people, Obi's business is to export jobs and import unemployment into the country. That is what he lives for. He's a trader. He owns a shopping mall. And you go there. There was a time I went to buy red wine in one of his stores, and I was told Peter Obi was the sole importer of a particular brand of red wine, or something from South Africa. So an importer doesn't have the capacity for long-term projection.
That's what
but as you Tinubu is someone who believes that for your tomorrow we must do certain things today, painful as it will be. I have given this example before. If people only knew that Nigeria was at the breaking point at the time Tinubu took over, if they understood the seriousness of the situation, I can only compare it to a man with a grade 3 or almost grade 4 cancer.
That's what Shomala.
And then the doctor is called in to do a surgery, and that surgery has been done. Now we are beginning to see the benefits.
I hear you.
And
is it possible?
More and more. And you do not expect opposition to acknowledge what is possible. You can see the ease with which they dismiss when a foreign power speaks nice of Nigeria. When somebody makes negative comments about Nigeria, you remember, this is the last one away. This is the last point I will make. For you to see the desperation of Obi and how far is completely unaware of what is happening around this environment. When we have this xenophobic attack in South Africa, and every Nigeria was justifiably angry, myself inclusive, I watched Obi on the electronic and print media saying that Nigerians in South Africa will prefer to die there than to return to Nigeria. And because first I suspect his business, and he said he had just returned from South Africa. He didn't tell us what he went there to do. I guess he went there to repackage some imports that he wants to bring from South Africa. And Nigeria prefer to die there than to come home. Somebody who wants to govern Nigeria. Number three, do you really believe that anybody whose business is for real, who couldn't fix a state in 4 years, he worked hard in 8 years, he didn't fix it, he's telling you and me, that is the height of desperation. And once you are desperate, you become emotionally imbalanced. And you are not capable of, for me, Obi will be the easiest
policy to engage in a real debate.
Senator Oshomole,
Because he is not aware of
allow me
the real challenges of
to
Nigeria.
jump in for a minute. Is it possible that you are downplaying the political significance of Peter Obi? He won in Lagos in 2023. He had over 80% of the votes in the southeast. And could it also be that he may be speaking to those Nigerians?
There's a longer version where he responded to this particular point, that the reason he won Lagos State was not because it was because of the Muslim thing and how people played it out in Lagos. But that's talk for another day. Anyway, he mentioned how he got emotional and that he's probably having some emotional imbalance, talking about Peter Obi. Anyway, there's a group of people who are representing Peter Obi. They went to court, and I've not seen anything that defines emotional imbalance more than this one. Please take a listen to, you understand who they are when they start speaking. Take a listen, please.
I want to tell the whole world that Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the NDC and our principal in the obedient movement, he has alerted the whole world that his life is under threat by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, by the government and the agencies of the Tinubu administration. And we are here simple. We are come to court to enforce his fundamental right, and we are praying that he should be provided adequate security. We don't want another Funsho Williams in Nigeria. You people know that of recent, Peter Obi, in a very viral video, claimed that he won the 2023 presidential election. He said it, it's online, you Google it, he said that he won the 2023 presidential election. And what the implication is that Tinubu and the former INEC chairman, Ẹkáàbọ, stole his mandate. And Peter Obi is warming up to reclaim his mandate in the 2023 election. And it's a similar scenario that happened in Lagos State. Like more than 20 years ago, even all the security agencies in Nigeria, the DSS, the police, nobody has come out to say who killed Funsho Williams or how Funsho Williams died. Funsho Williams died in Lagos while he was said to be warming up, to contest the 2023 governorship election in Lagos State, to reclaim his mandate that he believed that was stolen. So we don't want similar scenario. Peter Obi must not be another victim of political assassination. He to campaign and engage people, sell his manifesto, tell Nigerians about his ideology to bring this nation out of poverty and corruption. Peter Obi is genuinely committed, to not just taking Nigeria from production from consumption to production, but is committed to end corruption in this country. And of course, over the weeks, you know what is happening with our budget. You now know that our budget is now a statute of fraud. What we call annual Nigerian budget is not an instrument of fraud. You can see the fraud, from the first page to the last page. You can see that what we have in the Nigerian budget, from the unknown agency to telling upstream regulation agency to withhold certain amount percentage, for campaign funding, from even the governor of Imo State, deducting from source the allocation that is meant for the 36 states of the federation, and they're using it to fund city movement ambassador or whatever, or poverty movement ambassador. So they are committed, to continue to impoverish Nigerians beyond 2027. And we are here to alert the whole world that nothing must ever happen to Mr. Peter Obi. That is why we have approached the Federal High Court to enforce his fundamental rights. We also joined the rascal called the governor of Edo State. In this matter, he has publicly warned Peter Obi not to come to Edo State to campaign. That when Peter Obi is in Edo State, that his life is not his security should. The governor of Edo State or any other governor in this country does not have such right. As the campaign will soon commence, Peter Obi has the constitutional right as a citizen of Nigeria to go any part of the country to campaign, sell his ideology, sell his manifesto to Nigerians who are ready to embrace the message of a new Nigeria that will be possible, a new Nigeria that will lift the country from consumption to production, a new Nigeria that will be corrupt-free, that will put an end to fictitious projects, like we are witnessing, in our budget, which I will now rather prefer to call a statute of fraud, an instrument of fraud. Majority members of the National Assembly conniving with the executive arm, to insert fake projects, into our national budget and continue to embezzle our common resources while the people continue to suffer. That is why we have approached the court for the court to assert the constitutional right of Mr. P2B to be given adequate security. We are saying that the president is the president is the first defendant, the attorney general is the second defendant, the inspector general of police, the director of DSS, and the commandant general of the security and civil defense corps, and the governor of Edo State has openly threatened Mr. P2B not to cross Edo State without his permission. And we are saying that the president, as the commander-in-chief and the chief security officer, has the constitutional duty, to direct the police, the DSS, and the civil defense to provide adequate security for Mr. P2B. And we are saying, on no account should Mr. P2B become another victim of political association. We don't want another Funsho Williams, because Mr. P2B is warming up to reclaim his mandate. He has openly said that he won the 2023 presidential election, and the implication is that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Yakub Mahmoud stole his mandate. And we are ready, we will reclaim it by the grace of God, with the support of Nigerians. We are sure and we are hopeful that he will reclaim his mandate. So that is why we have invited you. We will give you copies of the motion on notice and the affidavit in support of the application. Thank you so much. I'm Okele Kingdom Nandi. I'm the convener lawyers in defense of democracy and a member of Obedient Lawyers Forum. And this suit is brought on behalf of Obedient Lawyers Forum. Thank you so much. Any other question?
Anybody ask you a question? If they pick this one up now, people will start crying, Abi, and start shouting fundamental human rights. Because you have to prove that allegation. Funsho William. The connection between Bola Tinubu and Funsho Williams, you have to prove it. They have to pick somebody like this to ask questions. I'm not saying that anybody should, your fundamental human rights is your fundamental human rights. However, you've got to actually explain how you arrived at that conclusion that President Tinubu had anything to do with the death of Funsho Williams. You don't say things like this in public. This is supposed to be a lawyer. Look, that sorry be insulting everybody. Those are the kind of people that support Peter Obi. Before I bring people up, let's do something positive. General Lucky Rabo, retired, the former Chief of Defense Staff, was a guest on Arise News. I don't want to spend time on him, on the guy who was just rambling. Maybe when you come up, we can revisit it. But before we get there, let's just take one or two more news items. And I don't know if we're going to get to OBJ versus Atiku. If not today, maybe tomorrow. But here's General Lucky Rabo, former Chief of Defense Staff. He was a guest on Arise News. And they're talking about the new military divisions that the federal government just created. And what he thinks about it. And this is what he had to say. Please take a listen to this.
My first comment would be to appreciate the present Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. I believe that this is a first step in a long road, a very long road to ensuring that we have a very balanced security architecture in the country. Expansion of the Nigerian Army from 8 divisions to 12 divisions is the right step in the right direction. However, there are a good number of things that need to be done. It's quite heartwarming to know that the Commander-in-Chief himself is well abreast of the shortcomings of the military. If you're starting with the Army, perhaps that's a good step. I believe that the Navy and the Air Force will be part and parcel of what we consider on the plate. But let me say that increasing from 8 division to 12 division has a lot of implications. First, the existing 8 divisions must be properly in terms of personnel, equipment, logistics, and so on and so forth. I believe that the details of all that might not necessarily be, for public consumption, but I want to believe that the president, is well aware of the implications of all that. But beyond that, I'd like to also commend the fact that the president has indicated the composite, you like, of the truth. So the point is, which I want to drive at here, is that as good as it is, that is the expansion from 8 division to 12 division, there are lots, of course, that it will take on the resources of the country. I'm delighted that I believe that is part of his consideration for declaration of state of emergency sometime last year, which I think that perhaps is beginning to give effect to some of what is required to ensure that we have a very virile armed forces. Now, you did mention the issue of the police. By the way, the police remains the primary organ for internal security, both law enforcement and even for internal security. What the military has been doing over the years is more or less supplementary to what the police is expected to do. But I know that over the years we have had a diminishing attention to the police. So to that extent, the various gaps that have existed has now made the military to come to close up the gap. Because I believe that time has come for the military to begin to reevaluate their involvement in internal security. But of course, they can't do that without, the primary organ, which is the police, being able to effectively take up the mantle of effective policing of the country. So that
The other things in there, but we don't have all the time in the world, but it's heartwarming to actually hear professionals talk about the president's policies and the things he's doing. A few days ago, when the news broke that there will be 12 divisions now in place of 8 divisions in the Nigerian army, some people got very angry about that news and they said, "Oh, it's not going to work. We don't need more divisions." I even heard one that let me say it now, that other regions had two divisions, but the Southeast has only 1 division. I'm like, Ogo Southeast is the size of your state now. How many divisions do you think they do it based on federal character? It's based on need. Like, you don't need this thing. Someone said they can't hear me. Please, can you hear me on TikTok or anywhere? Maybe if you're just coming in, I think it's probably the app, because I think others can hear me. But if you can't, please let me know. So let me pause for a second. Okay, so people can hear me. Just hold on for a second. I think it happens like that when you're just joining sometimes. Anyway, the point is that some people were looking at this again from an ethnic, perspective. Thank you very much for the feedback in the comment section. Thanks a lot, Perizim, Madam Osun, Mr. Yomi Jeje, and Koboko. Thanks a lot. All right, so people said criticizing it. Some people even, went on TV and said no, it's not the right thing. And I just wanted to listen to professionals, like people whose job it is to know what sense that makes. And one of them, of course, is the former Chief of Defense Staff that we just listened to, General Lucky Irabo, retired. But there's a Major General who was also a guest on Channels TV this time, and he was asked questions about this division, the improvement or the president's plan for the Nigerian Army with the increase or expansion of the Nigerian Army from 8 divisions to 12 divisions. This particular person is a Major General. He's also retired, Major General Anthony Atolagbe. He had a very fantastic session. We're not going to listen to everything, just a little snippet. Take a listen, please.
Radical reforms of the Nigerian Army. This is one of the most radical reforms of the Nigerian Army that we have seen yet. I gave you just 4-letter word. Rejig at its best. This is audacious. Yeah. So coming with 4 divisions is not a child's play. We started with 7 divisions when we were increasing the number, and then we went ahead to create 8 divisions. That is just creating 1 and 1 at each time. We are witnessing a situation where 4 divisions. I just pray that the money will be there, because we'll be able to. The part of it that we did not talk about is the welfare, improve welfare. That is very critical. I'm sure that, I want to think that no serious government will embark a route just to play on the intelligence of the populace. So if they're serious about this, if there's any kidnapping, any abduction, God forbid, in any part of the country with this division, there will be any response. In fact, I came up with something sometimes that in each of these geopolitical zones, we should have what we call a strike force that has a helicopter, special forces, fully equipped, yes, so that if something happens within a particular location, within these geo zones, it's within the next few minutes, aircrafts are airborne and they are able to observe and then they direct you to how to engage. General, thank you so much indeed. What I heard and some within the military and within the security intelligence community is that we in fact now have some elite squad that are now domiciled, that are being monitored and controlled under the NSA office to ensure that there is precision in response time, and that we now have some new gadgets and new weapons to be able to prosecute. Those are some of the things that we are hearing. Some of these, let's move to the Josephs. Absolutely. So we have them in multiple grounds. General Anthony Atolabi, always a pleasure having you.
So that was Major General Anthony Atolabi, and again, I like it when professionals talk about things I don't know, so I can really learn. I mean, we read the news, but want to actually listen to professionals, and from everything, from all indications, it seems that this is actually a step in the right direction. All they were just waiting for is that funds are made available so that this can be expedited. So that's actually quite nice. Final news, and I'll bring people up now. This is actually good news from Kwara State. So forest guards, right, in collaboration with Department of State Services, DSS, local hunters, vigilantes, and other security agencies have rescued 11 kidnapped victims and neutralized 6 armed bandits during coordinated security operations in Kwara State. Take a listen to this Arise News report.
As unknown criminal elements continue to attack communities in Kwara, the state recruited forest guards working with the DSS, local hunters, and vigilantes have shown remarkable courage and determination to confront and defeat the bandits. Some farmers have been kidnapped in a community neighboring Ekiti State, and the terrorists attempted to cross with them through Obo Ayegule, Ora Ayegule, and Osi bush paths into Niger State, but on their way, they stumbled on local farmers from Obo Ayegule who sought support and they got routed.
After
the bush trading activities at about 4:57 p.m., I tried to adjust my motor compartment. I mounted the bike with my son, and as I was about taking off, suddenly some men came from nowhere and put down to my head 4 persons on me and my son. Fear gripped me, and I raised my head up. Out of shock, I fell to the ground, unable to stand for a moment. After that, other traders came to sympathize with me, but I advised them to run away because they might come back. A friend, a Yoruba man, came with his bike to help me. I told him to just run away and that I'll be alright. But while he was still with me, those bandits came back, more in numbers, and hit me and my friend, and we fell to the ground again. They took his bike too, and they kidnapped us with my son.
So I just come market, I go on my way going house. So we then attack us for those. I don't talk on the machine. We then come for our front, then attack us. On the main road, we then attack us. So we relate to a Jew.
A joint security team, while acting on intelligence, also neutralized another set of 3 bandits, leading to the freeing of 9 kidnapped persons, with 1 person injured and hospitalized.
Sir, we are facing a lot of challenges because those are people that we are talking about, what they are carrying is supersede what is in our hand, especially rifle. There is no type of firearm that is not in their hand. We need more equipment, such as body armor, binocular, light vision goggle, walkie-talkie, and so on. We need plenty ammunition to engage them.
The forest guards are really trying enough for us. Like what they did for us 2 days ago, they are the ones that helped us to rescue those people that were kidnapped.
along Ayotoro access. We have been doing enough security, intelligence work for us, which is helping us, and we are happy for that.
Localized operations and bush combing by joint security teams and vigilantes have led to the neutralization of bandits and rescue of victims in parts of Kwara South. Security forces have significantly scaled up response time as government doubles down in the anti-kidnapping campaign nationwide. The development comes as a new army battalion has been approved for Omwaron, a strategic step to strengthen the campaign against terrorism and banditry in the region.
All right. That's the final report for today, and I'm very happy that the army base in that part of the country will be in Omwaron. I have my reasons. I think you probably know what those reasons are. But thank you very much for listening to all the reports we had today. It's already to 8. It's 23 minutes to 8. But I want people to speak. If we have some time afterwards, then we'll read some of the things we want to read from OBJ's book. If not, we'll discuss that some other time. But let's have some responses from folks in the comment section. Or rather, let me bring people up so they can also share their thoughts. So, if you want to speak, please send your request. And as soon as you get up, please mute so that we don't have interference. So we have Bumblebee and we have Respect. Thank you very much. So let's have Bumblebee. Good evening, my brother.
Good evening, Prof. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ọlọ́run adé máa fún yín ṣe. Mo rí bọ̀bọ̀ tí ó ń tàbí ọbẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan tẹ fún ṣáìsì. Ó ti forí kó nǹkan tó yẹ kó forí kó.
Ó ti fẹ́ sọ èmi, ó ti fẹ́ pọ̀ jù. Ẹ̀kọ́ kan yẹ kí ẹ máa fún ọbẹ̀ yẹn. Kó lọ rọ́kúnlé. Ọlọ́run ayọ̀ ọ̀bọ̀ ó máa ṣe díẹ̀ náà.
Ó yẹ kó fara ká.
Ayé kò ní ṣe rẹ́ mọ́. Kò ní ṣe rẹ́ mọ́.
So, to be honest, this is what we talk about. This is the irritation we talk about. There's no Yoruba people going to constitute nuisance and platforms where they feel they want to hear their opinions. So, where we are talking about things that concern us, why should somebody come here and be constituting a nuisance, demanding that we'll censor whatever we want to say in a way that pleases their ears? In Cotton Shell in South Africa is quite unfortunate. Mo rí video kan bọ̀bọ̀ kan tó dáyọ̀ mo fẹ́ fún lọ́rùn pa. It's sad, but at the end of the day, think about it, let me tell you so. Your mouth will carry you where your body no supposed go. Now there your mouth will carry you go. And when they say, in fact, when the delegates from South Africa came, one of the things he said is what triggered it. He literally said it was the Igbo crowning of the Igbo king in South Africa. He said it. That was what triggered it. He stated it expressly. So there's no ambiguity about it. It's not working. And the main thing I really want to submit on is the Yoruba language. We have a rich culture and we thank God for it. Even though we, as Yoruba people, we don't differ to the religious aspect of it. We only differ to the cultural aspect of it, historical aspect of it and everything, and the way of life and everything, but we don't delve into the spirituality of it. I was having a conversation with one of my friends last week. It was expatriate Leonor, and the person was like, one time, someone invited her to Brazil, and in Brazil, she went there, she met a spiritual person, and like the lady was literally, she was like a diviner, she was divining in Yoruba, and then she had interpreters that would interpret to English, she had the ones that would interpret to Portuguese, but the basic medium of communication from the things she was receiving from the spiritual realm was Yoruba. And he said it was very, very intense. Like, and now we show she original new and all that. So I don't really go into all that. I didn't grow up with that. I don't go do all that. At the end of the day, we are Yoruba people, and when it comes to things that favor Yoruba, I'm really, really big on it. Ashawa, Edewa, Oriwa, Ashowa, Gbonkowa, Titiwani, Tiwantiwani. So when somebody is saying, what's the use of French, what's the use of this, what's the use of any Ogbon, is lack of knowledge, is lack of wisdom. Look at, I saw one of Ashake's concerts that he did in the UK. That concert was wild. It was, you could literally see that most of the people there were Yorubas in diaspora or Nigerians in diaspora. They were singing the songs word for word. So look that way, it was as if Ashake was an attendant in his own concert. Because when he starts the song, they pick it up for him and then they sing it all through. And you could see the hunger. People have hunger for home. When people are in diaspora, they want to experience things from home. You see all these black Americans who see culture, sorry to say, there's nothing they can really differ. And that's why you see most of them trying to delve into some of these things, trying to check their ancestry and all these things. But you know, when people don't have any roots, you know, where are they going to take how are they going to get culturally anchored? Where are they going to take Hobbit from? They'll be lost in space. And that's why most of them want to come home. They have a better appreciation for Afrobeats and all that and everything. You see, look at Ashake, Whiskey, Davido, and all of them. Even Burna Boy, Kole Korin Kuma fi Yoruba si. Kole Korin Kuma fi Yoruba si, 1 or 2 words. So, and it's a good thing. It shows that, number one, Yoruba people have a lot of acceptance. Why are people not using Hausa? Why are people not using Igbo? It's because when Yoruba people appreciate anything that is Yoruba, we are not butt kissers. We don't look for you to butt kiss us. But if you appreciate our culture, we accept you. We'll be like, Oshe, Yomi, and all that. We'll sing with you, we appreciate it. If other people don't appreciate people that praise their culture, that's their problem. So when people are saying that you can't make it in Lagos except you sing in Yoruba, it shows that Yoruba people will accept you if you sing in their language. It's not a problem. If you don't sing in their language, problem that's it. So for me, Yoruba language is very. I don't know why people can't learn 3-4 languages. English ni mo sọ lẹ́nu yìí, mo lè sọ Yorùbá dáadáa. Yorùbá mo sọ dàgbà. A1 ni mo gbà ní English ni WAEC. So what are we talking about? I see people that they speak eloquent French. So if you can learn French, if you can learn English, why can't you learn Igbo and Yoruba? Why can't you learn Abusa? Why can't you learn your mother tongue? What's so difficult there? I know people that speak 6 languages. It's just mental laziness. What is it going to be? How is it going to be? They speak English in school all day. They speak French out there all day. Why can't you speak Yoruba in your household? So for me, it's just something. It's just a conversation that is stemming from ignorance. So that's just it. And then for the coastal road and the Lagos-Badagry road, people don't understand. When Tinubu says he wants to build a $1 trillion economy, how is it going to come? There are untapped markets and untapped fields. People can't. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, please go on. We can hear you now. Go on. Please go on.
Okay, thank you very much. So, for me, so when you have when you're talking about the $1 trillion economy, yes, Nigeria cannot achieve a $1 trillion economy by focusing on just oil and gas. Sorry for the noise in my background. So we can't achieve a $1 trillion economy by just oil and gas. We have agricultural land up north. We need those people to be able to feed agro-processing and be able to get those things to the coast where they'll be shipped outside of Nigeria. So we need, when we talk about a lot of states that are civil service states, that nothing can happen in the state until government sends salary every month. Those states you can stimulate agricultural production, even cattle, even livestock production. You can do that and process it and then send to the ports and ship it out. That's the only way. If you don't have foreign exchange, you can't have a $1 trillion economy. If you can't get foreign exchange, the only way you can get foreign exchange is by exporting. And you can't just export primary goods. You need to do some value addition to it, some little processing, primary, secondary processing, and then it can have a little value addition, which is why Baba said no more exportation of raw cocoa. They should do value addition before they send it out. That's the only way to get to $1 trillion economy. Yes, you are going to bite the bullet now. You're going to build the roads, but eventually 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, boom, you start reaping the rewards of those interstate roads that are really, giving access to people that are doing agricultural production. Thank you very much, Prof. Continue to contribute.
Sorry, mo ti sọ̀rọ̀ lọ. Mo mọ yẹn o, bàbá mo máa pè yín sí o, mo mọ orúkọ tí máa pè yín o. Mo máa pè yín. But I want to thank Bumblebee. Thank you guys. I didn't mute myself. I want to thank Bumblebee for that brilliant submission. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. While he was talking about Yoruba language, I saw something that Mr. Remy had posted earlier. That's Prof. About how he went to Microsoft Seattle office or Seattle campus early this year, and he saw Yoruba on the wall, right, amongst other languages. He saw Yoruba there, and his friends, his colleagues, who were Europeans and Asians, were asking him if he could see his own language on the wall, and then he said, "Oh, you saw Yoruba there." Apparently, there's also Hausa there, so Yoruba and Hausa are the only two Nigerian languages on that wall. So imagine you couldn't speak the language, right? You would just be there and you're lost. Don't let anybody gaslight you into dropping what's yours, regardless of how international something may sound. Yours is as international, particularly if you're looking at it from the perspective that Bumblebee highlighted, which is, culture and education, right? So thank you very much for that submission. Bumblebee. After Bumblebee, we'll now go to Mr. Martin. You are now respect, but you are Mr. Martin to me because I heard your voice and I knew you were the one. Eko Jometa, Shewa.
Mukin tologun, mukin telection. Eku shek takutakun. I conjure more Yoruba, and they were proud of you for what you are doing. Pẹ̀lú community ẹ̀ ń serve wa, ẹ̀ ń fún wa ní ọgbọ́n àti ìmọ̀ tí ó yé, ẹ̀ ń try àti direct direction wa, a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín púpọ̀. Mo appreciate gbogbo tẹ́ ń ṣe fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. It's not something that's very easy to devote yourself for these kind of things. When we like Owambe people, we Yoruba like Owambe. So you are denying your Owambe, Mr. Busui. So you are here serving us here to open your book to explain to us. No, we are Owambe, go every Saturday. And I know you are denying yourself. We appreciate your efforts. Although you don't blame us, we Owambe people, we are your brothers. But we thank you for what you are doing for us. And the coming generation will always appreciate you. Your name will be written in gold. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I have two things in mind. The one of the things I have in mind, look how short of the grace and shenanigans. Some set of lunatic came out and said they are going to the court they want to buy their PCPA, and they're not tagging to federal government. I don't know the investigator that carry out the investigator that point the fingerprint to federal government. I don't know. They need to come and explain to us. We want to see the evidence from the investigators that direct the buying of OB to the federal government. So we cannot be fooling us here. We cannot be fooling us here. We need to see that paper evidence. How that kind of thorough evidence and point finger to the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria that you want to buy OB. See, you are so desperate. That's not how low you cannot go. So you went there and weevil thing. See, all those investigators, we go to court. The university that you do the jobs, the analysis, they will show us all those information they got to come to that conclusion. We are not a stupid people. We are not getting advice from the mad people. Not because we know our brain is intact. And we want evidence. No, you cannot say someone want to buy you and you see asking for question. We need evidence. For you to go to court, you must have done your analysis and show to you that the central government want to buy OB. You are so stupid, guys. You are so stupid. We know your game. You are preparing guys for insurrection. Hey, Obi want to do insurrection, no. They are preparing guys for insurrection, no. Obi know he's not going to win, no. They are preparing for other options, insurrection. But we know the game more than you. We want to see the analysis of point to federal government. Or you will go to court. We will sue you to court. You don't show the analysis that point to the federal government that want to buy OB. You cannot come and claim and declare something that's not established as a legal officers. You must show all the evidence that point to the federal government, or else you'll be punished. We will never allow insurrection. That's where we are going to. And this shenanigans went as far as 2023, Obi won, and someone claimed Obi. So Obi want to come out now and claim him. You are a fool. You are a fool. See how you con your words. See, I'm watching you. See how you con your words. I was saying, when I saw that video, I said, these mad people are coming to come and give another series. When I saw that, these mad people cannot keep on surprising us. What kind of lowest game? What kind of lowest game? Is it the first time we have election in Nigerian state? That we cannot breed? How can Atiku be calling for the Nigerian state? I've never seen Atiku coming out who said they want to buy him. They want to buy Atiku. And saying the federal government want to buy him. I've never heard it. So, but anyway, I'm not surprised. I know these people. They are the weakest of people, noise maker, big mouth, do nothing, know nothing, and absolutely achieve nothing groups. They are kind of anarchists. They like to incite all kind of disturbance in the system. See, Nigeria belongs to everybody, not only to you guys, and we will never be intimidated. We welcome you to context to do as everybody does, but we will never be intimidated. Go out and contest like other contestants, and they are not bringing drama. I bring more than 4 people contesting, or 5 people. I've never seen this kind of drama, only except OB. Anyway, I'm not here to talk much. That, by the way, but we need evidence. We need evidence to point to that kind of people that claim, or else we meet in court. This game, we fight to the finish. You cannot sit down in your group meeting. That's, by the way, the second thing I want to talk.
Okay, sir.
The second one is about the Yoruba people. That's why I'm so proud with humility to be a Yorubans. I know it's not by choice. It's about privilege. Yoruba people have one of the most sophisticated culture in the entire world from Africans. That's why they became so envious of so many people. And it's not our choice. That's how we are being made. We are being wired and we are taken. Yoruba people build civilization, build kingdoms from ancient to present. Yoruba has several kingdoms. We have been building kingdom before the white people go to Africa. The knowledge of building kingdom in Yoruba lands is ancient before white people came to Africa. We are very sophisticated. I'm so proud to be a Yoruba person. That's why we are being under attack. And I think there's so many things we can gain in Yoruba culture. If you are I suggest if you cannot have our division, our separate country, But moderately, maybe like regional government, there's quite a lot of things we can do with our culture and civilization. I see no reason why we cannot be teaching our children in schools in Yoruba language. That's an achievement. If you are built on our own, all our children will learn the subject in Yoruba language. That's what they be done in Turkey. They are being done in China, done in Germany. Several countries are doing it. Why can't we do it? I see no reason why we cannot introduce Yoruba language to the university system. We need to advance that culture. Nigerians say hold their back. He held us down because of constraint, and I see no reason we cannot put advance our civilization. I see no reason why you cannot make Yoruba language in every bank in Yoruba land. National business, hospitals, marketplace, and motor park in Yoruba land. We need to continue advancing that kind of civilization. It cannot hold back. We need to continue doing it. Our ancestors have done a fantastic way. We need to advance it. We need to advance it. We shouldn't stop. If you just stop, they go to count on sudden date to us.
Thank you very much.
To our race. So we need to aggressively advance, go to a new level. All our children in schools will be taught in Yoruba language, mathematics in Yoruba language. I hope I'll go witness it before I leave this world. And science subjects, everything, we need to Yorubanize everything in Yoruba land. Now, I'm not talking about that people land, Yoruba land. I don't want to provoke anybody. Oh, my very good friend, Igbos, I'm not provoking you. I'm not saying to have Yoruba language in Igbo land. I'm very respectfully. I don't go beyond my boundary. I need to respect Igbo. Let me finish. I need to respect Igbos. What my own campaign. No. I want to demonstrate how to demonstrate respect. I will not put my mouth in Igbo matter. I will not carry Yoruba land to Igbo land. I will not teach Igbo children in Yoruba language in Igbo land. But in Yoruba land, every education system will be run in Yoruba land. If you want to buy, you buy. You cannot hold us down. We must advance our civilization. We want to hold us down to achieve your own aim. We will never allow that. We have to continue moving forward. In Yoruba land, in every area of Yoruba land, if you want to buy. Thank you.
Okay. It's been a very long time since I heard Mr. Martin. And believe it or not, this afternoon I was thinking about Mr. Martin. I was like, I don't think I've seen him this year on this platform. Maybe last time was last year. So I was just thinking about him earlier today. Sorry, I wanted to clap. I was thinking about him, but I'm glad he came around today. Such an interesting submission. No comments. I have no comments. Let's just go on to Bumblebee. But Mr. Martin, you reminded me why I used to time you that time. It's a relating thing. So next time I will now be timing you again. But thank you very much for. I didn't even have to bother because it's been a long time. Am I worried?
Ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ́ mọ̀ nǹkan tó jẹ́ Yorùbá inú yóò ní máa dùn tó dùn bẹ́ẹ̀ tó láyé ẹ má bínú.
ẹ ṣeun sir. Can I say the Bumblebee? Bumblebee, good evening. Welcome back.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Martin is calling for our obedience. Mr. Martin ti wà okay. Ọmọ àrùn ọlọ́ni. So I forgot to add something. I had a contribution. There's this movie coming in January. It's a Yoruba-themed Hollywood movie. Also, Children of Bone and Blood and Bone. It's a Yoruba-themed movie. Yeah, Children of Blood and Bone. Ooh. I heard Ira Star is even there. It's a blockbuster. It's going to be in January. So, Shara on top of Sokoku, Oma Sunkun Dada. Hey, they did not add us. This is not only Yoruba Ninja. Omara is Sokun. January and Bo.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So we should support it because it's I had to be eventually pulled out, but whether or not, there's some really good guys in there. Chiwetel is there. Ira Star, of course, is there. Demon Idris is there. Cynthia Erivo is there. Some really great actors. Of course, we have Vala Davis as well. Very nice group of people, ensemble that will be doing some fantastic work. So support it. When it comes out, we'll talk about it. Hopefully it will be good. I think it's going to be good, considering what I saw earlier. So thank you very much for that. I saw Mr. Babatunde Okoli just now, but I can't see him anymore. I'm going to let Mr. Martin go down. Yeah, so we can wrap up. So I want to. One second. Let me see. It's 8 o'clock already, so it's time to go. I just check something for us. Just give me a second, please. I want to see if we can do this in one session. So I wanted to do it today and tomorrow. Okay. Okay. I wanted us to do this, I want us to start today and then finish tomorrow. Well, time till low. But let's do something, right? Let's just read part of it. Even though it's going to eat into my time, but even if it's just a couple of pages, just to give us an idea what to expect tomorrow, then we'll call it a day. We might have to read this again tomorrow, but I think it's important to just mention something about this. So we don't just have the news and that will be the only thing we do today. So, like I said, Obasanjo has written many books, right? And that's what I respect about him. I have a number of his books as well. Fantastic Mind. And like I said yesterday, and it's the truth, I don't know of any other Nigerian leader, apart from Papa, but I'm not comparing with our, definitely. When it comes to past presidents in Nigeria, nobody comes close to Obasanjo when it comes to writing. You don't have to agree with what he has written, but he writes. And he also writes a lot of letters. And one of those letters that he wrote wrote last week, Taba, Atiku Abubakar, and then they had some exchanges. And we will listen to some of the recordings tomorrow, some of the clips, the things that Obasanjo said in the past, what he said in recent times, what Atiku also said. We'll do all that. But see, after Obasanjo left presidency in 2003, he dedicated some time to writing, okay? All right, and he published this book in 2017, actually. No, 2014. The book is titled My Watch. This book, so there are 3 of it in one pack. So it's a 3-volume book. Or 3-book volume. I don't know which. 3-volume, no, I can show you, but so 3-volume work. Essentially, he talked about how he was raised, talked about his politics. So this particular one, the second one, is actually about political and public affairs. And it's in this one that he mentioned his relationship with Atiku Abubakar, his vice president. What we're going to do is just read part of this. I said earlier, there are 2 chapters dedicated to Atiku Abubakar in this book, chapters 36 and 37. 36 is Atiku and U.S. Justice Entanglement. 37 is Succession, Transition, and Exit. So what we're going to do is we're just going to read part of this, and then we'll call it a day. When we come tomorrow, we might still read some of it again before we continue. All right? So this is Obasanjo. Succession, Transition, and Exit. In my opinion, the transition program began the day I was inaugurated for the second term on May 29, 2003. While everything from that day was geared towards transition, I maintained that I would run the affairs of the government until my last day in office, and I did. I have never believed in the sitting duck syndrome. I believed also that the aspirants to the office, whether in the PDP or in other political parties, had started in earnest to oil their machinery. Atiku Abubakar took it to the level of obscenity. Right from the moment we were sworn in at Eagle Square, Atiku's banner for 2007 was hoisted and displayed everywhere in the arena. I, of course, ignored it. He had showed his hand much earlier when his marabout assured him that I would not complete the first time before he took over. By the way, last week I was listening to BKO, Babajide Tsoloju, and I was saying that because what the Atiku that he will become president. So right now he's just doing everything he can to clinch that, that post. I mean, I wish him all the best, but Tinubu will win. Anyway, the point is, this whole idea of marabout is something that even Obasanjo is referring to here. Of course, you have these spiritual consultants who tell you that you're going to become president. Obasanjo will not finish his first term and so on and so forth. Again, you're looking at things from Obasanjo's perspective. Tomorrow, we're going to read some things from other people's perspective before we come to this book. So we're not going to start with this book tomorrow. We're going to listen to recordings, and we're also going to read some other people's takes on this. Like I said, when it comes to OBJ and recent history, I like to read for us to all see the sides without taking any side, if I can help it, and then I'll pick something and then we'll dwell on that thing. That's the best way I think we can enjoy the sessions. Okay, so let's go back to the book. I just wanted to quickly explain that. Let's go on. So he says about Atiku Abubakar, he says Atiku Abubakar took it to the level of obscenity. Right from the moment we were sworn in at Eagle Square, Atiku's banner for 2007 was hoisted and displayed everywhere in the arena. I, of course, ignored it. He had showed his hand much earlier when his marabout assured him that I would not complete the first term before he took over. He believed it and acted accordingly. He touted the Mandela model in expectation that he would take over in the second term. The third prank he played was trying to get Naba to impeach me. That's one we're referring to, that he referred to in the letter read yesterday. The third prank he played was trying to get Naba to impeach me. The first one before the 2003 election was his arrangement with Alex Ekweme to be his running mate. And after Ekweme had won, he would serve only 3 years and then resign for Atiku to complete the term. As a result, they would have no competitor in the 2007 elections. In the morning of the day before the primary, by the way, we know all these characters, we know all these players. We know Atiku, we know Alex Ekweme. Just in case, we have newer people on the platform. Ekweme was the vice president of Nigeria from 1979 to 1983. He worked with Shehu Shagari as president. He also tried to become president in 1999, but there was a primary election, PDP primary election in February that held in Jos, where he was defeated by Olusegun Obasanjo. So that's the one he's referring to here. I'll read that again. The final one before the 2003 election was his arrangement with Alex Ekweme. That's Atiku's arrangement with Alex Ekweme to be his running mate. And after Ekweme had won, he would serve only 3 years and then resign for Atiku to complete the term. As a result, they would have no competitor in the 2007 elections. In the morning of the day before the primary in 2003, the BBC reported that Atiku had not decided who to support in the primary, but he was sure that whomever he supported would win. I went out all night visiting delegates and campaigning till almost 6 a.m. Andy Uba kept chasing Atiku to make another statement, but he insisted that only on BBC would he make another statement. He was hoping that the BBC reporter would not be located. She was located just before dawn, and Andy brought her to Atiku. When Atiku saw that I had tilted, I think is what I wanted to write here, tilted the scale by going out the whole night, he restated what I had given as an answer to the question at the Adamawa delegate's location, that Atiku would be my running mate. After the election, while Atiku was maneuvering and planning to put himself as the most consummate politician for the 2007 elections, I was wholeheartedly engaged in running the affairs of government. I totally ignored Atiku and his co-planners. I was told that he had even prepared his list of ministers, just as Ekweme had prepared his acceptance speech on the evening of the PDP primary at the Eagle Square. Ekweme came to the square with 2 wives, but before the counting got halfway, one of the wives left. By the end of the counting, the second wife departed. This might have been caused by disappointment at the high number of votes I was getting. This man knows how to throw jabs. Well, let's continue. Atiku was not working on one option alone. He had the option for 2007 2003 and 2007. One of his schemes in preparation for his ascension in 2007 was to get the whole Southwest AD governors to support him. Without informing me, he went to work out a deal with the six AD governors. He told them that PDP would not contest against any of them in 2003, and in 2007 they would not present any presidential candidate, but adopt and vote for PDP presidential candidate, which of course would be Atiku. When the news of the deal got to me, I was furious for two reasons. One, such a deal to me was undemocratic. Two, if any deal will be reached at all, it must involve all the national party leadership. I expressed my feelings to him. I stuck to my gun that in a democracy, all interested parties must be in the field to allow the will of the people to prevail in the choice of their leaders. We campaigned vigorously in the Southwest, and PDP actually won in all the 6 states except that Lagos State governorship election was stolen, as it was meticulously explained to me by an insider, RBT Tinubu, the then head of service of Lagos State government. Now, this one, I think the jury's out on this. Yesterday we read from Oshoba's perspective, which is the AD governor's perspective. And maybe one other thing I should do, perhaps, is to bring the book by Babisi Akonde, Participation. That's the title of the book. But I don't want to bring it because it's going to change the topic. But just know that on this thing, he says, she said, no, don't share the advice in different people's opinions. But let's continue. As I moved on with my programs for the second term, I had no clear indication about who would succeed me. If Atiku had been a loyal, faithful, dutiful, and committed second in command, I would not have doubted. After all, I picked him purposely for that in mind. What informed my position was the question my chaplain, Reverend Dr. William Okoye, asked in the beginning of May 2006 about who I had anointed to succeed me, since we were almost 1 year to the election. Omoloma says, sorry, Lagos gubernatorial election was stolen. That's what Obasanjo is claiming. Okay, I might have to dwell on this. Okay. Obasanjo is claiming that PDP won all the 6 states, but Lagos was stolen. The AD people said that PDP actually rigged in all the states, but they were not able to successfully rig in Lagos State. That's what the AD perspective, particularly if you read from the governors who were there at the time, was that PDP rigged in all states of the Southwest, but that Lagos was where they were not successful. But they were able to, yesterday we read how, for instance, they had over 600,000 votes, more than the votes cast, the total votes cast for the gubernatorial candidates. Obasanjo had that many votes. All right, so the point is, they believe that, as a matter of fact, Oshoba was saying what happened in Ogun State, that professors had a meeting in UNAB at the time, and that was where they cooked up the plan to, rig the election, essentially. That's according to him. All right, well, Obasanjo is saying here that they were the ones that won, and it was only in Lagos that this vote was stolen. I don't know how that came to be, but let's continue. As I moved on with my programs for the second term, I had no clear indication about who would succeed me. If Atiku had been a loyal, faithful, dutiful, and committed second in command, I would not have doubted. After all, I picked him purposely for that in mind. What informed my position was the question my chaplain, Reverend Dr. William Okoye, asked in the beginning of May 2006 about who I had appointed to succeed me. Since we were almost 1 year to the election, I told him no one yet. He was curious, but he believed me. We moved on as all sorts of clouds started to gather around Atiku, if not at home, surely in the US, with his newly acquired wife, to complete his total Nigerian husband outlook, Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo wives. Here he achieved federal character. So instead, he achieved federal character in marrying Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo wives. In addition, he acquired indiscriminately chieftaincy title. I'll tell that again. He acquired indiscriminately chieftaincy titles all over the country. By 30 May, I told Reverend Okoye at the morning devotion session in my residence that I wanted to embark on 1 month fasting and praying in June for God to show us, PDP, how to proceed in getting a successor candidate. Is how the religion just gets introduced in this conversation. It's quite funny. Where was I? He joined me in the fasting. That's Reverend Okoye. He joined me in the fasting and prayer with some other members of the Red Carpet Prayer Group. Within 3 weeks of our fasting and praying, we received a letter dated 22 June 2006, written by the U.S. Department of Justice, Criminal Justice Office of International Affairs, which was brought to me by Nuhu Ribadu, the head of EFCC, requesting us to investigate a number of Nigerians for suspicion of criminal activities in the U.S. Atiku Abubakar's name was among the names sent to us. Up to that time, EFCC had enjoyed a close cooperation and collaboration with law enforcement agencies in the UK and the USA. I gave the green light to Nuhu for the investigation as requested by the US authorities. He carried out the investigation and forwarded his report to the US. The report was a bit uncomfortable and unsavory for Atiku and his associates. I thought it was bad enough that the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was under investigation for corruption, when my administration had made fighting corruption one of its cardinal objectives. As it turned out, the investigation in Nigeria and in the US led to Atiku's house being searched by the US Bureau of Investigation, FBI, the arrest and detention of his newly married wife, Jennifer. She was also declared wanted at one time. It was so embarrassing for our administration and embassy in Washington under Ambassador George Obiozor. 1 second, please. All right, let's continue. I believe that Atiku, for reasons not unconnected with the investigation, ceased from going to the US and put up his expensive house in an exclusive area of Washington, D.C. for sale. He bought the house early in our administration, and I blamed him for his poor judgment. Sorry, I have something in my mouth because of my throat. Just a second, please. I'll read that part again. Where were we? Let's continue. It says here, this is again Obasanjo. The book is called My Watch. I believe that Atiku, for reasons not unconnected with the investigation, ceased from going to the US and put up his expensive house in an exclusive area of Washington, D.C. for sale. He bought the house early in our administration, and I blamed him for his poor judgment, though he tried to justify it by saying that he sold a smaller one to buy a bigger one. All the same, the timing was wrong. Congressman Jefferson eventually went to jail. What that request for investigation from the US did was start a process of elimination in the transition process. Since Atiku did not raise or discuss any issue concerning his matter in America with me, except what I read in the local and foreign newspapers and reports, I did not ask him about anything. By then, I had come to know Atiku for his connivance in covering up and not being straightforward on matters requiring truth and candor. On a number of occasions, I had told him to his face that I saw him differently from Shehu Yaradua, who was partly his political mentor and my second in command during my military administration. Shehu would never lie to me. Atiku would look at me in the face and say no when the answer should be yes. I found it curious and inexplicable. After I had confronted him on a number of occasions, inviting my chief of staff, Abdul Mohammed, to witness by joining the two of us to iron out some of his dubious actions. After I reported him to his father-in-law, the Lamido of Adamawa, I gave up on him. He believed that denigrating me with his battery of media men and women was the surest way to succeeding me. I wished him well and moved on. Sometime in the fourth quarter of 2004, an associate of Atiku came to my residence at the Aso Villa from Atiku's official residence. He felt uncomfortable, and I tried to make him feel at ease. Then he settled to tell me the story of what had just transpired in Atiku's residence. I listened with rapt attention. He went on to say that Atiku told him that for him to become the president of Nigeria, the 2007 elections were only a formality. The 7 ingredients he needed for his enthronement were already in his hands. He controlled the National Assembly because both the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives were in, because both the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives were in his pocket. He controlled 28 out of 26 governors. He had control of the media. His influence over the judiciary was overwhelming. What he needed was foreign endorsement, and for that he had employed 2 lobby groups in the US and 1 in the UK. And finally, the money for the elections was in his purse. When the man finished, I thanked him without passing any comment. The man was surprised at my reaction and asked, "You have nothing to say to this?" I said that I had nothing to say, and I immediately called my ADC, Chris Jemitola, to play a game of squash with me. On our way to the squash court with my ADC, I said, "People at times make plans and leave God out of their plans." My casual remark struck Chris, and he said, "Sir, that was a profound statement." I said that I made the statement because of what I had just heard of Atiku's plan. I was not going to fall out of place one by one. The first was the party, PDP. He thought I was powerless, and I had no clue about the execution of his plan with his group. Part of his attack on me was for national chairman of the party to give the first salvo. Then other things would follow as his grip on the party would be firm and consolidated. That salvo came in the form of a letter to me from the chairman of the party, Audu Ogbe, who had fully defected with Ayu to Atiku. The letter, which was not the product of any issue or matter discussed with or at any party meeting, came suddenly. Audu Ogbe's letter on the Anambra situation and my response here. I think we should stop at this point. We'll read the letter. That's Audu Ogbe's letter, and then we will read President Obasanjo's letter and hopefully finish the chapter tomorrow. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. We started discussing Atiku Abubakar and Olusegun Obasanjo's back and forth in the last few days. We're going to start in a different way tomorrow, but we'll read some of these things as well so that we'll understand recent history in Nigerian political landscape. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. I want to thank everybody who tapped, who liked, who shared, who wrote in the comment section, and folks who came up as well to share their thoughts, like Bumblebee and Mr. Martin. Thank you very much for your engagement. I also want to thank those who gave gifts, particularly on TikTok. T Dan, thank you very much for your support, and thanks to everyone. Thanks to KTB, who is also giving a hand heart right now. Thank you so much for that gift. T Dan as well. I really appreciate your generosity. There's not much lesson to bring out yet because I want us to get to a particular point so that we'll be able to. Again, when it comes to Obasanjo's matter, most of what you have is he says, she said. Okay, and because it's also recent, you would think that Baba never made any mistake. But I think also documented everything. And I think it's a lesson to learn from him. But we'll continue this conversation tomorrow, and hopefully by the time we're done with this, you will understand why Atiku Abubakar had to take people like Bishop Matthias and Kuka, Bishop David Oyedepo, and some leaders to go and meet General Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta before the election where he had Peter Obi as vice president. That election, when they were still in PDP, that was 2015 for your support. All right. I'll see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. For those of us who are joining for the first time, we have these sessions every weekday, Mondays to Fridays, 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. And we'll be here tomorrow to go deep into this. I want to finish this matter so I can go to, I want us to go back to the foundations of Nigeria, go back to the 1920s and 40s. Why? Because they're very exciting. And because also much of what happened in those times, 20s to 60s, we don't usually discuss them at all. At least this one, you still know that the characters are still alive. You can hear Obasanjo, you can hear Atiku, you can hear. So we'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. So 4 p.m. tomorrow. 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. join us. Before we go though, we're going to listen to our anthems. We have the Yoruba anthem. Sorry, we have the Nigerian anthem, and then we'll have the Yoruba anthem. Please listen and sing along of our anthem. Thank you very much.
Nigeria, we hail our own dear native land, the tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be our symbol, that truth and justice reign. It is our battle honor, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children the banners, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Nigeria may be
àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀ ìmọ́lẹ̀ wọ̀ ní wọ́kùn lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́, wa máa gbèrú sí ni. Nàìjíríà náà ò ní bàjẹ́. Mo nǹkan tó bá dáwọ́lé a máa yọrí sí rere. Ilé wa ọ̀nà wa ọ̀nà bá tó. Ilé ò ní lé wa ọ̀nà ní náà wa. May God bless you. May God bless your family. May God bless the work of your hand. May God bless you. May God keep you and cause His face to shine upon you all. Have a lovely evening. See you South African time. Good night. Odaro. Eshe.